credits, or are we gonna wait a second?
Well, you mean real one? Oh, here we go.
It was Doug, right?
Real nerd.
Hey, nerds! Oh, we don't have a theme song.
Yes, we do.
Land of the
There's
Nerds.
playing on that.
Not anymore.
No, it's not anymore.
Land of the Nerds needs a theme song.
Land of the Nerds. Nerds.
Ninja Cat.
Land of the Nerds. Nerds, nerds, nerds.
You're a bad rapper, man. You should never, ever, ever rap.
What about a gift?
It needs lasers and explosions.
what's the matter, Gus?
Oh.
I know, buddy.
Anyway, yes. I don't need one of those. You can have that.
Oh no!
Our credits still rolling?
She just.
No, they're over, and I'm not paying attention.
Woo! Credits over!
Nice.
Woo! Hey, y'all!
Hey, kids! Alright.
Elvin Wolf here.
Alexandros.
Moon Sedai.
That man with the dog under the table.
And Just Jay.
And don't forget Captain Blackhawk!
And in the back, you can hear our lovely dog almost singing, because he does that. And we are coming to you live from Cooling Down, Phoenix, Arizona on October 10th, 2016, just a couple of days before Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest. Woo!
What is this cooling down that you speak of? It was 96 today.
And in the morning when I'm getting up to go to work, it's freaking freezing.
It is nice. I have my windows open, my fan going. I'm laying in bed going, oh.
Besides, a Phoenix 96 is so much cooler than a Houston 96.
Yes.
At Houston 96, it's like a Phoenix 120. Like,
No, that's a Phoenix 110.
no.
That was Minion.
Let me make my own exaggerations here, Minion.
If you want to be on screen, come get your butt over here.
We don't have a chair for him.
He can stand. That's all I know.
He can stand right behind you like a good minion, right?
Right.
I can be the background voice.
Your dad's
Nobody
background.
can hear you from way over there.
Anyway, it's, as we said a bit ago, FanFest is coming this weekend. We're all kind of excited.
Adam, back in there. Can
You
you throw
are-
it away?
Are you throwing your drink away? What are you doing on the screen, Adam?
Adam, what are you doing?
Adam?
Come back.
Us.
Awesome. Well, we've had kind of a crazy week going on before we get into the meat of the topic this week. Any nerdy stories y'all want to tell of last week? Just
Oh, just Arrow.
Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, binge
Arrow.
watching with
Oh,
binge watching and binge watching. I've been doing a lot of that. You
Oh,
know,
man,
to and
this
from work.
season of Arrow, I'm kind of excited, but I think we're talking about that more a little bit later. Oh,
I've missed like the last season. I'm a big hero.
oh my god. I am in love with this new
You don't have to bring the
idea
tablecloth with
of
you. Don't bring the tablecloth.
of the what's the word I'm looking for? Of him teaching new minions.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
they're not calling them minions, but that's what they are.
Your brother's online.
My brother's
I
online.
didn't make it to the...
Hi, Robert. We
Yeah.
did actually talk a little bit about that Magneto versus Darth Vader thing earlier, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that
Let's
for a
talk
minute.
about that for a minute. Yeah, Magneto versus Darth Vader.
Magneto.
My brother Robert, earlier this week on Facebook, posed the question with some of his friends.
He
Postulated Magneto would beat Darth Vader in a fight. Discuss. Now, my brother was like, all right, Mandy, what do you think? And I'm like, totally, because actually me and one of his friends posted at the same time the exact word, duh, and then because Magneto has metal control and Darth Vader's like 90% metal and like 3% flesh. Or something like that. Not exactly those words, but...
What if he chucks his lightsaber at him?
It doesn't matter. Magneto can drop a Death Star on Darth Vader's head.
However, one of his friends was pretty severely arguing for Darth Vader. Oh no, he could use the Force Choke. But can the Force Choke get through Magneto's helmet? Besides, Magneto could crush the skull, crush that helmet over Darth Vader's skull. What? You were saying Darth Vader earlier. What was your reasoning, Jaren? Or just Jay?
My reason
Is-
was more so based upon Darth Vader's cooler than Magneto, and then you started dropping the logic. So I was like, oh, okay. I can
Yeah,
see
you gotta
Magneto
drop
was-
logic into any argument. There's also not been a definition as to where this combat is taking place. Is it on a spaceship? Is it on planet Earth? Are they floating around in zero G?
Endor.
Are they on Endor? Where are they?
I think the greatest point you made though was how Magneto has the helmet that blocks off mental control.
So there would be no. You don't need to fight me. I'm not the droid you're looking for. I'm not the Jedi you're looking for. The Sith you're looking for. Even without that, though, I think Magneto's pretty strong-willed enough that he wouldn't need it because the Force does not do its mind tricks on the weak-minded.
That's true.
Eric is not weak-minded.
No.
I think the more interesting fight would be Eric versus Anakin. You know what I mean?
What is Eric's last name?
I don't remember.
Lecture.
I'm sure. So who would win in a fight? Pre-evil Magneto or pre-evil Anakin? And why would these two be fighting?
Well, wow. But you still, Anakin will kind of lose.
At what point do you consider him evil?
I'm evil in the classic sense, but I think these are both excellent villains. Magneto's my favorite of the.
I don't think they're even. I don't think they're really villains.
Well,
I think they're anti. To me, they're anti-heroes. They're
no. They don't do heroic. I mean, sorry. Vader does not do heroic things. Now, I can take that with Magneto because just because he disagrees with how things should go doesn't make him a villain. The villains are the people who are out to kill or destroy or take advantage of the mutants. Those are the villains. With him, it's just
Eric's done that.
he's the essentially with Magneto and Professor X. Professor X would be Martin Luther King. Magneto would be Malcolm X.
yes. I accept that.
One would be through peaceful means. That would be Professor X. Magneto would be through violence.
I agree with him because I think about Watchmen. I forgot the name of the. I forgot his name. But the guy who orchestrated the whole entire thing.
Luke Cage.
No, not Luke Cage. That's Marvel. He had this whole entire thing where he said, "This is everything I'm doing is a means to an end." That's kind of how Darth Vader was. He said, "I turn evil so good can happen," and that I honestly think, of course, that's the wrong.
Magneto was doing kind of nasty things to protect the people like him.
Yeah.
Have you seen Unbreakable? With Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. L.
Yes,
Jackson.
yeah.
Yes.
At one point, he tells him, every good hero needs a bad guy. I'm being that bad guy so you can be the hero.
Yeah, Magneto would totally crush Vader's whole body because he's
All right.
mostly metal.
You guys mentioned Anakin, right? Because he wanted to make sure we also discussed Anakin pre-metal arm.
Pre-metal arm.
Oh, pre-metal arm. Okay.
Pre-metal arm when he was just a straight-up Force user, and Magneto's not wearing all the stuff with the.
Well, the thing is, he would try to throw his lightsaber at him, but Magneto controls metal, so he would stop the lightsaber and just throw the lightsaber
He'd
right
probably
back.
stop it, catch it, look at it, and toss it on the ground. Like
Or use it.
Magneto with a lightsaber.
Oh.
A floating
Trump.
lightsaber.
That trumps all.
That's
No.
sorry. Eric is still winning. Magneto is still winning.
Avatar: The Last Airbender versus Magneto.
No, you see, Aang would win there.
All right, so we can go ahead and get started with the main show. We have 5 people online watching us now.
Hello, 5 people.
Hello, black people.
Hello, 5 people. And Robert's still
There were
watching.
5 people.
Oh yeah.
We like you.
Who's the 5 people with us today, Captain?
They don't say.
It's just 5 viewers. Okay.
5
Yeah, don't
viewers.
say.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we're going to be talking about FanFest today.
Memphis!
The reason we're talking about FanFest is because it happens this weekend.
Woo!
It's outside of Phoenix. FanFest is a 2-day convention. It's Saturday, Sunday, and downtown. Well, it used to be like a mile away from us, literally, like a quarter mile in this big ass stadium that we can see from our apartment.
The Barrel Cactus Cardinal Stadium.
at Christmas time. Now it's moved to October in downtown Phoenix where they hold a regular Comic Con.
It used to be an excellent Christmas market for nerds.
Now it is moved up in proper time to give people 2 shopping weeks for my birthday. My 10th anniversary of my 28th is coming up.
I don't know what that means.
In 5 weeks
Did you
from
say
my
your
birthday,
12th anniversary?
10th.
In 5 weeks from my birthday.
Yeah, mine's more important. I'm older.
And
Oh, Rob.
Minion, if you want to say something, come join us on screen.
Hey, Minion.
and what are you expecting for
Take
your
my spot.
birthday?
I gotta.
I don't know.
I'm coming.
What are some
So-
ideas?
Coming back in.
Actually, I was thinking about that.
We're going to see Doctor Strange at some point during my birthday week or weekend or something because it premieres
Awesome.
a few days beforehand. But
We're gonna watch it
The
after 10.
9th
So
is, which one's Veterans Day? The 9th?
Veterans is the 11th.
The 11th.
Yeah, we do veterans one.
So I have no school that Friday before. On the 9th.
Yeah, that Friday. I have the weekend, basically a 3-day right after my birthday. We could do birthday weekend afterwards. We'll discuss that more.
The
on
9th is a Wednesday. The 8th is going to actually be another showing of my art show at Australia Mountain Community
on
College.
election day.
On election day. We are going to spin it. It's basically the spin is after you vote, come see the cool patriotic thing at Australia Mountain Community College. And we're getting a lot more press on it this time around, so I should have a lot more viewers, and it'll
Cool.
be fun.
But back to FanFest.
Back to FanFest.
There's a lot of famous people coming this time.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrestlers and stuff, man.
Oh, I know. Now Dad's gonna be drooling all over him.
I mean, the Honky Tonk Man shows up every year to FanFest, and it's kind of sad to watch him just sitting there, like.
Wasn't that he has like
Daniel Hawk is online right now too.
Hey,
I
Dad.
don't know if you've noticed, but he's building a pirate ship, a floating pirate ship, a steampunk pirate ship, and it's pretty freaking amazing.
Where?
So, he's in Virginia right now.
Okay.
And there are photos of it actually on the Landers page. He's been posting a few. They look amazing. He's doing a really good job.
Life-size boat?
Yes, FanFest.
Life-size boat, or what kind of?
An airship.
Does he just have like $1 billion just kind of sitting there going, "Hey, let's build a boat"?
Well, it's pretty. It's not $1 million boat, but it looks amazing because they're amazing artists. And that's all you really
The
need.
good thing with steampunk is it doesn't have to. You don't have to spend $1 million to make it look like you spent a lot.
Yes.
He wanted to. He had posted earlier that he wanted to actually make it a real airship and put balloons up, but they said that'll cost you $4,000 for us to make, and he went, Plan B.
Okay. Yes, this year to include wrestler I don't recognize.
Uh-oh.
There's John Cena. There's the Honky Tonk Man.
John
There's
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the
Arthur
Snake's
Darville.
He canceled.
He canceled apparently.
No, Jake the Snake.
No, Arthur
Oh,
Darville.
I don't care.
Jake,
So what
Bob
happens
White.
when everybody talks
Yeah.
over each other?
off everybody that's going to be there, I think the best, if you have a chance to go to a panel, I've seen a couple of Jake the Snake's Roberts panels online. I think if you're to go chance to go see, go to one of Jake the Snake's panels.
Agent
He
Ward.
is honest. He's upfront. I'm going to warn you. He does let foul language come out, but
He's a little salty.
But he keeps. It's not salty. He keeps it. He talks about his struggles with the alcoholism. He talks about his struggles with drugs. He talks about how
Let's see.
how he was going to possibly be the number one guy, but the stuff got in the way. I mean, the biggest pay-per-view match WCW had for years up until that Hogan Sting match, was it '97 or at Starrcade? Was the
Ooh,
Sting
Simmons.
versus Jake the Snake match.
Cool.
And when Jake the Snake came over for basically one pay-per-view. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, Jake the Snake is totally coming. I'm seeing a whole bunch of wrestlers. I've seen Agent
But
Ward.
wrestlers to a nerd event. I mean, I'm a nerd, love wrestling. I know, Mike, you're a nerd who loves wrestling, but really, what is that real percentage? I don't know that many. None of you do.
My brother and I watched wrestling when we were a kid with our dad. But
But look at it. I mean, you've got, if we're to go through the world of, let's just say, science fiction, I know he's not going to be here, But you got Jim Myers, aka George the Animal Steel. He pops up inside the movie Ed Wood. You've got wrestlers that make appearances in all these other science fiction movies. You've got WWE with their own film line. John Cena wasn't he in the Marine?
Everybody knows who John Cena is. I mean,
But
You got a
but
couple of actors from Stranger Things, yes, Melody?
Okay. So one of the things that I've commented on with WWE is, I think with it being a newer convention, we're not quite on the circuit yet.
Ugh.
And so I think they're pulling from a lot of different groups going, a lot of people will like this. Now, I'm not complaining because it just means that I can get good stuff for my brother for Christmas.
But I'm taking a look at the wrestlers there, and I mean, I think that group of wrestlers, minus the honky tonk man, that group of wrestlers is a great group of wrestlers to have. Jake the Snake. I mean, Jake the Snake he was actually getting more cheers than Hogan was during Jake's prime in there. And Hogan refused to wrestle the guy because Hogan did not want to lose to that guy under his contract. So that kind of tells you Jake, and he's the prototype Stone Cold Steve Austin before Stone Cold Steve Austin was there.
Oh, absolutely. Robert though says that his bride isn't into wrestling, but I guess he's into wrestling. Your brother, and so he's forcing so much nerd stuff down her throat. He says he sacrifices. I sacrifice wrestling for other nerdy things. Yeah, I was watching Raw pretty much every week. I haven't watched Raw in the last 3 weeks. I just have not had the time.
We watched the most recent WrestleMania because Lyle wanted to watch it. I think it was around your birthday or something.
That's
So we
SummerSlam.
watched that, but I was like, oh, okay, just The Undertaker. Everybody shut up. Okay, match is over.
My brother watches it religiously. He owns every single wrestling game, and he can one-handed beat the ass of anyone to play games with him. But problem is, I don't like it. I mean, I grew up with him watching it, and I think the last time I watched it, I had an ex that liked watching wrestling, and was goofing around. He's like, look at this, I've learned some holds. And he tried to wrestle me, and I was having it. So I went to go free my leg and accidentally kicked him very, very hard in the testicles.
oh,
And happiness was had by all except for him.
nice.
Okay, so can we move on from wrestlers?
Absolutely. Just to reiterate, we are all going to FanFest this weekend. Please come and see us. We're going to do some Facebook Lives. We're going to take a ton of photos.
We're going to
We're
show
going to
up in a
publish the
rainbow
heck
bright
out of our Instagrams and our Facebook pages and talk about Rambo Bright and everything
Rambo
else, and it'll be a
Bright.
lot of fun. So be sure to meet us there.
It'll be done this week.
We'll see you there.
Okay, the next one we had on our list was the Orionid Meteor Shower.
Oh my God.
Haunted houses, sorry.
Haunted houses. I want to talk about haunted houses.
So 3 of us
Woo!
went to see 13th Floor, which is a haunted house in Phoenix. This is the second time I've gone, and it's really gorgeously done. I mean, there's a lot of artistry to it.
Face off.
Overall, I really, really liked it. You put the picture on it. Yay! We're interactive. Yeah. But yeah, it's.
I'm not a haunted house fan. I let these guys go while I stayed at home and played my Xbox game.
Anyway.
So the 13th floor is on Bell Avenue and I-17, roundabouts there next to the old Dollar Theater that they used to have down there. It's still technically there. It was a lot of fun. They had 2 parts to it. They had the haunted house and then the zombie part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for $30, and yes, $30 each, you got to get through both of the parts. So what is your overall thoughts? I know I have my own thoughts about both parts. It would probably be best to give your thoughts on each one as separate because they were so different.
It's $30 for zombies and $30 for haunted house.
No,
No.
you got both. So you get to go through the haunted
Each
house, and you
person.
can go
I was
through.
about to scream at Morgan for spending $60 for haunted houses. Okay.
No, it's $30 per person to go through both.
Okay.
My biggest issue with 13th Floor, although I enjoyed the hell out of the whole thing, and even though I felt, was I could not understand any of the lines that those people went to the trouble of saying. They were all trying. I understood that they were trying to do it in their squeaky voice, their hissy voice, their scary voice, or whatever, but I couldn't understand it. It wasn't legible. So the haunted house was great, but the minions might as well just have not been there.
So, Morgan, for a person that's never been to the 13th floor,
Okay.
for the cost, I'm just trying to figure out, for the cost of $30, how long does it take for a person to get through maybe both sections?
Through both sections, it took us about a half to 45.
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
So,
It takes about 45 minutes.
so about $1 per minute.
It's about $1.
Well, and it's also kind of self-pacing because we were chasing Captain Blackheart through half of it.
And I was going slow. The two people we went with were a lot faster. They were way ahead of us.
That didn't.
Yeah, we were just like,
Oh, it didn't bother me.
I was
either.
trying to look at the ambiance and look at some of the really cool stuff, and then turn around and Millie's just turned down a corner.
yeah. So I'm like, where'd Lyle go?
I'm not a fan. Oh, not a fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
like the
think
squeezy rooms.
yes.
Even though I fell during one, I liked it.
Yep, it was out.
Squeezy rooms.
Yeah, Dallas told me it was like when we went to that one haunted house, we were like kind of pushed in, and we
Yes.
had to fit through it.
Yeah.
So how was the full body one?
The full body one was kind of weird because it was a full body squish, so you're kind of squished in between two.
So it's like you're in one of those old wiggle worms that we used to play with in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest worry in going through that was I was paranoid I was going to hit my head. So I walked through most of it with my head like this because I wasn't sure where the
And was
where
because it's moving.
Well, and it's everybody has their own way of getting through them because I had both of my arms like this, and I was like, push, step, push, step.
This sounds as dirty as when David tried to describe Steven Universe.
Yeah, essentially the squeezy rooms are, it's kind of like you're walking between two bouncy castles that were right next to each other.
Yes.
It's that, it's pretty much a air bladder that's inflating. And they had 3 of them. There's one, the first one we went to was kind of like shoulder height. That's the one he fell in.
Here's the words I'm hearing. I'm hearing squishy, bladder.
The second one is kind of like chest height, and it was, and it
People
kinda-
turn you.
yeah, and it was kind of like in a swamp-esque kind of room. So it was kind of like you were pushing your way through the swamp water. And then there was the full height one where you're sitting there going, I'm going to suffocate to death. And on either side of it, there are these ginormous snake heads that come out of the wall and squeeze you.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank this as far as scare factor level? Were you at like a 10, like brown alert, crapping your pants, screaming? Or
I spent most of the time trying to enjoy how cool it was,
I've been
and
to haunted
that
house.
completely ruined my ability to be scared.
No. I've been to haunted house with both of them. The only thing they do is the whole time is laugh at the people.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And he's sitting there like, should you stand up? Me and my friend were like terrified. These 2 are just laughing at them the whole time.
Now here's the
This was a couple
thing
years
though.
ago, right? When you
is
were, when you were
that
like, having
For
nightmares about it.
me, the haunted house was amazing.
Yes.
It was well choreographed. It was well done. They had plenty of awesome practical effects.
Yes.
It had
Just be scared.
great things to disorient you. That room, that spinning room that they usually have, was extra long, and literally you couldn't even stand up in it. I was nauseous afterwards, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
Well done.
Wanted to throw up. The Zombieland was boring for me. It was absolutely boring. You just kind of walked, meandered around a little bit. They
Yeah.
tried to jump scare you a few times, and it was pretty lame. Meh.
Well, there was that group behind us of girls that did not take over that chainsaw popping out of the wall.
That was because there was like 6 girls and then the 3 of us, And that guy pops out. We're like, la la la, walking out the door, and all of a sudden, 6 girls go pew pew pew. But yeah, I mean, it's gorgeously done. And I know the previous time I went through, the Zombieland was better. They had more people working it. They had people that were the National Guard who were trying to help you through it.
Is they trying to save money by not having as many people?
I don't know. I just know that.
Or was it because it was a Sunday night?
It might have been a Sunday night too.
Now, wait, okay. So wait, you've been to the 13th floor before?
Yes.
I
Wasn't
went
it a
with.
lot more like, I guess, because I know a few of my friends used to go a couple years ago. They would always tell me different things. It used to be a little bit more. The haunted house used to be a lot more 10 times more terrifying because they would actually do a lot more things differently than I guess they do now. Because they used to push you around and stuff like that. And I guess.
No,
The haunted houses really can't touch you.
Yeah. I mean, and if they do, there's a very big sign saying they can touch you. Now they can get close, but
You get chains on your face or?
I see Lyle has a.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, the fluffers. Can we mention them for a second before
Yeah.
we move on to the next subject?
Yeah, 'cause I'm
There's-
getting.
There's fluffers, real quick. We called them fluffers, but basically they were scary people walking and mingling around in the waiting line, trying to freak people out
Get
before
people
they
ready.
went.
Yeah.
Get people excited, ready, whatever you want to do. And they were walking and mingling with the crowd. And there was one guy who was really animated and to a certain extent a lot of fun, where he wore kind of a metal cap on his head and had a chainsaw. A chainsaw that didn't turn, but you could
I thought
hear the
someone was
chainsaw
talking.
going, so that freaked people out.
What was happening?
All right. So, long story short, he was obviously freaking the most people out. There were other people, but they were just meandering. This guy was the most animated. And he was doing a lot more of that chainsaw than a lot of people were really comfortable with. And there was a few times he was actually shoving the chainsaw directly in people's faces. And if they wouldn't have flinched, he would have hit them with the chainsaw.
thing is, I was watching for some of that,
Mhm.
and there's a lot. He did a lot of hand guarding of it.
Mm.
Like, it looked like it was close. Like when he would go vroom to go up the person's back, he would actually have one of his hands kind of like on this side of the chainsaw, and to make sure that he didn't even touch them with his hand. And so it's very, very intricate sleight of hand. They definitely had.
They used
Some
to get like right in your face and
Yeah.
do it.
They do. I mean,
Everything.
that's definitely
Stage
some
presence.
some really good stage work, because it's like the difference between like when you're watching a fight on
Do you think you would have
stage.
fun working in a haunted house?
I would have a blast working in a haunted house.
Okay.
I would have a blast.
I told Daddy, if there's a haunted house that someone's hiring and they require an instrument, I would bring my sousaphone and blat in someone's face every time they walk
Oh,
by.
that would actually be funny.
Yeah.
See,
Everyone,
isn't it left at the school? No, you take it home.
I take it all my time. I want,
yeah.
as long as I
Yeah.
return it nice and pretty and clean.
All right. So we
Oh.
could talk about this all night. We still have a half an hour. We still have lots of things to cover. So let's move
And
on.
most of this has been stuff.
It was a nice event. Not sure if it was worth $30. I would go there on a weekday and try to catch it where you can.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Sure. Meteor shower.
Oh, yay, meteor shower.
Okay. You may not be excited, but I am. The Orionid meteor shower is going on tonight. It
If
is
I go
going
outside, will I see
on.
it?
What?
If I go outside, will I see
Yes,
it?
you should be able to.
Now,
Yes.
It's actually going
Where on the night sky is it? North, south, east,
It's
west?
coming out. It's coming from the constellation Orion. That's
I'm gonna
where
look
it will
around
be
so
seen.
she's only coming around.
Okay. When I say that it is a high meteor shower, I'm talking you might see one a minute.
Have fun.
Okay.
It's also supposed to be debris from Halley's Comet.
Oh,
There,
cool.
it's going on through November 7th, but this week is the week you're supposed to see the
Yeah.
most.
Tonight's supposed to be the big night.
Awesome.
Wayne Man.
And I'm a big fan of astrological wait, which one is the one? Astronomical
Catastrophes.
warfare.
Nerd.
Oh, yeah.
That's about it on the meteor
Is that about it on the meteor shower? All right.
Let's talk
What
about
else do we
that game.
think?
For my birthday recently, my friend Dree got me this game. It's called Smash Up.
Smash up.
And there are packs that you can get to add to it, and they actually give you room in the box, which is super nice. Where essentially you get decks of cards, and so it comes with 8 decks, and you choose 2 decks to play, and each of them have different qualities and characteristics, and they're themed. Like this, there's a dinosaur deck, so everything in here is dinosaur themed. There's a T-Rex, there's Triceratops, and all that. And there's a zombie deck. And what's really cool is when you're looking at some of the background stuff like that, you can see where they're kind of hinting at shows like The Walking Dead.
Or Jurassic Park, or any show about ninjas ever.
Aliens, pirates, ninjas, robots.
When we played, or when I played, I was a ninja dinosaur, which is why I'm bringing up ninjas, and that's just awesome because I had ninjas and a big giant T-Rex.
Yeah. The reason it's called Smash Up is you take your 2 decks together and you shuffle them and all that, and you draw 5 into your hand, and then you start playing your cards. And you're pretty much trying to smash up the bases. So there are bases, and when you hit a certain number of minions on that base,
on the top left corner,
it explodes, and whoever has the most minions gets the points for that round. Or depending on the text.
We can't see anything. The Earth has too much light. It's literally can't see any of those stars.
the Earth has too much light, or Phoenix has too much light.
Well, I mean,
Hey, you're in the
Sit.
same.
we're producing a
Sit
lot.
down.
Right.
So, it's really a game that's really easy to learn, and as you start learning the different characteristics of the different decks, it really becomes a strategy game. Because
Freaking awesome.
some of them are like the dinosaur deck has a lot of hard-hitting creatures, but not a lot of weird stuff going on. Meanwhile, the pirates are moving around a lot more. So when you go to blow up a base, the pirate captain can swoop in just as you destroy the base, and you've got 5 more points.
And the
so you may
ninjas
win.
can attack other minions.
Yeah, the ninjas can attack other minions. The
Adequate war.
wizards can do magic spells and change things on the board. And it really is
Oh, so this is an actual game. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a game.
strategy game. It's really smartly done. And I mean, just looking at the expansion packs that you can get, it's
It's more fun than it sounds.
yeah,
It sounds lame. It's really more fun.
But yeah, it's the thought of having a pirate dinosaur.
Or
I always suggest when going for any new kind of board game, before you buy a new board game, just go onto YouTube and watch a few different kind of playthroughs and watch people play through it. I'm sure this is when you're trying to explain this like Smash Up right here. It sounds fun, but when you're watching through those playthroughs, there's games where I would have never bought that unless I've watched that playthrough, because it's so hard to understand the directions. These directions, they come with books like this big now. It seems like.
Well,
These
right.
board
I mean, and the friend who bought me this actually went online and looked at Dree. What'd you watch?
Tabletop.
Tabletop. With Will Wheaton.
Yes.
He always loses for some reason.
Yes, he
Because
does.
he's a
He's
good
no
host.
Tabletop's a fun show.
I've only watched a couple of episodes. It's not my bag.
I bought this one game that I was never going to buy. It was but it looked interesting. It was kind of this Indiana Jones like game, but the price tag on the game was $100.
Ooh.
Who wants to spend $100 on the game without actually watching something on YouTube and knowing if it's good?
Well, and there are other things to do. There are nerd shops and stuff like that will have game nights that have display versions of the games that you can do a playthrough with.
well, I also know. Don't forget that Imperial Outpost actually has that game that you can play right now. That's on Bell and 67th Avenue. Thunderbird.
I was talking specifically about Imperial.
There we go.
Thunderbird and about 49th
Yeah, I don't
Avenue.
like going to Imperial because I always feel like the guy is blowing me off.
Mansplaining.
Or yelling at you.
Mansplaining.
Or
Yeah.
yelling at you.
Okay. So what's after FanFest or Apocalypse Now Film Festival?
Let's keep this
What is
one-
that?
Let's keep
What
this
is that?
description brief because
It seems to go through.
Last Saturday, we had the Apocalypse Later International Fantastic Film Festival.
Woohoo!
It is a short film festival. Average film was somewhere in between about 7 to about 15 minutes. They had 2 sets of film. They had a science fiction set, and they had a horror set of film. Each set lasted about 2 hours. What nice thing about this was these were independent filmmakers paying to submit films in for an award through here, and both one inside the horror set one from the judges, and one inside the sci-fi set one from the judges. You actually got to see in kind of a mixture of unknown people to Colin Baker and Terry Malloy, the guy that plays Davros on the screen, and some other guys. And it was a fun thing for a first time film festival at the cost of $10 a ticket for four
Not bad.
hours of fun. And
are these all short films or long films?
7 to 15 minutes.
7 to 15
I'm sorry,
minutes.
I missed.
And the guy that put it on was our local person, Hal Estelle. He's been putting on these little short film festivals at cons that last about 2 hours apiece. And it was nice to see him kind of do his own finally. And hopefully, he says it's going to be bigger next year. There were a couple of small.
Yeah. Sounds fun. I'd love to actually enter something like that. Me and Jaron just entered a film festival, 30-day challenge film festival from the IFP, and we submitted a 5-minute film on behalf of the Australia Mountain Community College. Jaron and a bunch of other students did a lot of the work, and I helped facilitate it. But that's part of the stuff that we're doing here as well.
Speaking of Jaren, can we move on to Luke Cage? I know
We're
it's near.
supposed to be watching Ink Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to Logan. Where is he? Oh, move.
Move, minion.
Oh.
Let's move on to Logan. Come sit. Be merry.
I mean, the other stuff is kind of cool, but
Yes,
really
be
we want
merry.
to get
Let's
into
get into stuff.
You be merry. We'll make some Jesus together.
routines.
All right, so I switched to Logan. So Logan is going to be playing in the background as we're talking about it. What do you think about this idea of Logan as the next iteration of X-Men? And it's actually kind of the old school because you got Patrick Stewart in it
Okay.
instead of that other guy.
Lyle, do you mean the next iteration of X-Men or the next Professor X?
The next movie for X-Men that is coming out that doesn't have the younger version of X-Men. It is now. It's
So
got
James McAvoy bothers you.
a little bit.
He's an Academy Award nominated actor.
Well, he's so awesome for him for that.
The older ones have Fassbender, the younger ones have Fassbender. Or what's his name? Yes, they have Magneto.
I'm
Yeah.
s- I kind of like. I actually like the younger group so far better than I like the older group. It's just I thought the best film out of the entire bunch had to have Hugh Jackman and the younger crew in it.
So the whole
We're
thing
skipping
about
from
this
the
new
young,
thing.
from the young X-Men to really freaking old X-Men.
Yeah, basically. Now, here's the thing. This has to do with the X. What is it? X-32. Basically, they're saying that they're going. If any
X-23.
X-23. Thank
I don't
you.
really know the comic story that well. X-Men have
X-23
not
is
been-
the story of Logan who gets cloned, and he clones into a girl, and
What?
that's X-23.
Is that who that little girl is? Yeah.
That is what everybody is feeling that this is where they're going with it.
She's
That
the,
little girl is Logan cloned.
to be
As a
fair.
girl.
To be
As a
fair,
girl.
she to be fair, when I get commissions for artwork, I get 50% of my commissions are for Harley Quinn's. 25% of those next commissions, because these guys really like women, is for X-23.
Whew.
So that's her popularity with inside the comic. How does that translate to the mainstream audience? I don't know.
Jared? Sorry, just Jay?
Well, I was excited because I'm a huge Hugh Jackman fan, and
You're
So
a huge
this-
X-Men fan?
Hugh Jackman fan, and I absolutely.
So you loved
am
him in
disappointed.
Australia?
You loved him in Australia?
Australia.
Yes.
Well, as from a kid, all I knew him really was from the X-Men movies, and then there was Van Helsing. Then he blew my mind with Van Helsing. Then he blew my mind, of course, away with recently, of course, Pan. And let's not forget, what's that movie where he had to look for the little kids?
The Fountain. No. Oh, sorry.
It was a mystery like suspense movie where his daughter was kidnapped. Okay,
Fake
I
it.
guess-
No, that was Liam Neeson.
No, Prisoners.
You know, there's something.
Prisoners. That's what it was.
You know, that guy is a terrible father. How come his
So-
daughter keeps getting kidnapped on him? At least
Oh,
3
no.
So
times
the third
now?
one, he's the one that gets kidnapped.
Yeah, the second one, it's his ex-wife.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen him? Have you seen Hugh Jackman dance?
Oh, you just reminded me of something. Les Miserables. Wonderful. Loved it. Let the black character just stay there and die, okay?
So,
Moving on.
and
Moving on.
he was also Curly in Oklahoma.
I really
I don't
liked.
remember.
I think
It's
his.
one of his first stage productions, I think he
I'm
did.
gonna have to look that up.
I think his best film is that I've seen him in. It's not for everybody, because most people will watch that film and
Was it
think
Miss
it's really
Peregrine he made a
crazy.
cameo
What's
in?
crazy is that the fountain. Where
We
he keeps
saw him
kind
in
of
a
going through this
cameo
one
in
scene
something
over and
recently. It's like
over again, but it's the same
He's
guys that
Smithsonian,
did
Smithsonian.
Groundhog Day?
no the fountain. Close.
Yeah. Oh, it had the same concept.
Kind of the same concept, and it's the same guy that made, so this guy's films are not for everybody because they're real surreal, dreamlike sequences. Requiem for a Dream made the same.
Was that Donnie Darko?
Requiem for a Dream is Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, same guy. He did a film for him called The Fountain that is fantastic.
Okay. Well,
Not a fan of Aronofsky. Let's get back on the topic with Logan.
I have to say right now, the girl, X-23, she's sick in the game Avengers.
We're talking about the movie.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying she's a character in this game. And that's like the first time like they actually playable character in Contest of Champions, and she has like 2 blades instead of 3.
Yeah.
And so I thought she was pretty sick in it.
So
But-
the best thing you can say about the movie is talk about something else.
No,
Talk about a character.
no, I'm
that's-
just relating to what I think about. I think she's gonna be a pretty good addition. What I'm getting at now is probably my theory. A theory is a statement that hasn't been proven true. I'm not the film theorist, but from what I've been seeing in the trailer, they say, let's go, all the X-Men are gone, or so that
all
leaves
the
it open.
mutants are gone.
Yes,
you said,
all
yeah.
the mutants are gone. Right.
Which implies X-Men in that Venn diagram.
Right. And so I was like, I was just sitting there wondering, like, is this was Apocalypse supposed to be the last X-Men film? I make that statement because I think back to Deadpool. Deadpool only had Colossus as an actual metal figure, a whole bunch of new characters per se that don't really, that you can make a good transitions from. So then you had the hints of the helicarriers from the Avengers in the movie. So is Fox, like Spider-Man, going to start sending the X-Men home? That's my biggest question.
Back to Marvel.
Yes, like make a deal like Sony did with Spider-Man.
I don't think they've squeezed enough juice out of that orange.
I think they.
I think they need to have a couple more shakes.
I actually think they, based on if you take a look at the money 20th Century Fox is overall pretty smart company. If you take a look at the budget they spend on films. So for these, the young new X-Men, off the ones the McAvoy led ones, they cut back the spending budget on it because they know they're just not going to get the same number of people that go sees the Patrick Stewart X-Men with Hugh Jackman in it. They also take into consideration a factor of the number of comic book films that are coming out in the year. They knew that film's going to.
Wasn't Hugh Jackman in the McAvoy films? He wasn't a leading character, but he was there.
Not as a regular character. I'm not talking about a cameo appearance. I'm talking about a regular character where he makes regular character in there where he's fine. It's just they know they're not going to get people to go see.
Hugh Jackman
X-Men.
has been playing Wolverine for so long that I wonder if he has a David Bowie possession over the character. Like Wolverine's mine.
But I'll tell you right now.
No,
that's
I
what people
think
know.
that some of the producers are afraid if they change Hugh Jackman to another actor, people might not go see it.
I think they'd be fine casting a Clint Eastwood as Old Man.
No,
Logan.
not Clint Eastwood. You've been saying Clint
Oh,
Eastwood
shit,
all
sorry.
night, and fudge no.
No.
Kurt Russell,
Language.
Mel Gibson.
Overboard. That's where you're going.
Throw him overboard.
There are plenty of actors,
Not Clint Eastwood.
old school actors who'd be perfect for an Old Man Logan.
All right.
I just say right now they're in
Fat
a position.
Brando.
The way they set these movies out, I just thought they were.
Pee-wee
I
Herman.
just think they're in a position where they can make a nice deal with Marvel.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting theory. We'll see how that plays out with time.
Because Sony's still making their own Spider-Man stuff. But
All
of course
right.
it's time.
One thing though that Robert is saying is he had a cameo in two of them, but he was big time in Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
That's the one they spent the most. That's the one they spent the most on.
That's the
Mhm.
one that had all of the X-Men from both stories in, and that one was freaking
The time travel.
weird.
So what do you think of the music in the trailer though? That was a big thing that when it came out, everybody's talking about Johnny Cash.
version.
They're
of
using
her.
Johnny Cash to try to portray an emotional side of Wolverine.
There are very few artists that can take a song and make it their own. The Nine Inch Nails version of that song, good song. Johnny Cash sings that song, and I want to cry.
Yeah.
That's the last thing Johnny Cash did.
Oh, he did it.
Maybe they're trying to make the equivalent statement that this is going to be the last Logan or last Wolverine that
Well, he
Jackman
said
is
this
supposed to be
it.
doing.
Yeah.
He's retiring. Is he getting too old to do it? Is it just too much physically on him? I don't know. Or is he just like
Tired of it?
Or as I say, what's going on behind and deals wise.
Mhm.
I look at it as, you don't want a guy stay in the part for too long when he can't play the part anymore. Kind of like you had Roger Moore stay around for 2 extra Bond films than he needed to, and make
yes,
sure.
minion?
You could be having like a John Deere moment where he's like, okay, I like Han Solo, but Han Solo should die eventually. And then he died.
Is that
You
because,
gonna remind me of that?
Whoa.
is that because you want more popcorn?
You're the one who squealed and
You know-
I'm so sad he did. And then Joshua comes up, eat popcorn.
shoved popcorn in David's mouth.
You know what?
Hey,
A lot of people cried.
Oh,
hey,
I did too.
Boba Fett fell into a pit and lived. Han Solo could still be alive.
Yeah, no.
We're holding hope.
Let's
No.
to the heart.
Leia saw him die. Or Leia
Yeah.
felt it die.
All right, let's move on to the next thing because we can talk about this for a while. We still got about 10, 15 more
And
minutes.
you really wanted to talk about something else, wasn't it? Not just
We
Logan.
wanted to talk about Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Luke
I haven't watched
Cage.
Luke Cage yet.
Hey.
All right,
Watch
we
that
won't
film.
necessarily spoil it for you. We've got Luke Cage playing in the background where we're the trailer playing in the background. Luke Cage went on Netflix, like a couple months ago, a month ago?
Yeah.
I just finished watching all of the episodes. I know you've seen all the episodes now.
Knocked it out.
Luke Cage is a different kind of superhero movie. It is
TV series?
Or
a
TV
superhero
series.
TV series. So in general, it is.
Netflix.
If you binge it, it's a movie.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a 12-hour
You
movie, and literally
like
12 hours.
a kid
Each
at
episode is not 45 minutes. They're an
Sweet
hour.
Christmas,
A
as
kid
Luke Cage says.
A kid before Christmas waiting for Luke Cage, or before Sweet Christmas waiting for Luke
Luke Cage.
Cage.
Sweet Christmas. Oh, he said that so many times.
Is it Luke Cage Day yet? Is it Luke Cage Day yet? So,
Just like Will Ferrell and Elf.
Yeah.
I
That's
look at
exactly how I act.
when I see
So much.
when I see Luke, when I hear Luke Cage, just one image automatically pops in my mind. I think back into the time of late '90s. Kevin Smith came over for a Marvel imprint called Marvel Knights. These were darker stories, artwork. It was for adults. A little bit over, and the stories were much more darker. These were meant for adults, and it was all about Daredevil, all about the Punisher, all about Luke Cage, all about Iron Fist, and they became a team. They became a team together called the Marvel Knights.
Right.
And you actually had Alias was almost one of those
I've
imprints on that.
started reading a little bit of Punisher lately. I've been enjoying it. I haven't gotten too deep into it because I want to pace myself because I don't want to catch up with the stuff with the particular cycle I'm reading and then be like,
Alright. So Luke Cage is different than though most of these Marvel TV shows, movies, or anything. One is because even though Luke Cage is a superhero, it doesn't feel like it's the primary focus, and not in a bad way. It is super
Political.
duper steeped in black culture, like hardcore steeped in black
says
culture.
the
It
whitest
is.
dude in the room.
I know, but you just can't get away with it.
Yeah.
Away from it when you're watching it. It is just
So
steeped, really hardcore in Harlem, its history, what's
Exactly.
going on, all that kind of stuff. It's completely ingrained into it. And Luke Cage just happens to be. He's from, where is it originally? It was
Like
Georgia.
down south, yeah.
Yeah, Georgia, and he goes up to Harlem for reasons that you'll find out later. So.
For reason.
Reasons. Well, we don't want to spoil it too much.
Thank you
There's
for not
lots
spoiling.
of different things that are going on in the movie. One thing that I found, and then I'll let you talk. One thing that I found about the show is, I talked a little bit about how even though he has powers, it's not really the focus because what it is that he doesn't really want to use the powers. It almost feels like Spider-Man, but even harsher. Like he's really struggling with, I have powers and I don't want to necessarily use them unless I absolutely have to, kind
Seems
of.
to remember there was some of that in
Yeah.
Jessica Jones with his character as well. He's like, man, I don't want to use my power.
And that's kind of how the Marvel Knights imprint was. These guys were going through a lot more tougher times in there. There's a lot of, speaking of political wise, the Black Panther in there. That was my favorite comic that time because it was all about political. If he did something wrong, he looked at if he did something wrong, it would affect his country. If he sometimes in there, he walked in there and let one of his concubines or whatever you want to say do the wrong thing to him. It started fun because that meant he's supposed to marry that girl.
Well, part of the fun, though, and if you guys watch this show, is without spoiling it, think about who's going to die and who's going to survive by the end of the season. Because they're going to keep guessing. Because you think, oh, that's an important character, or that's an important character, and then they kill them.
Yeah, speaking of-
So it
So
follows
it's a
the
lot of-
George R. Martin rule of who survives.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that kind of thought
I like
process.
this character.
Or
He
look-
must die.
Walking Dead. Oh, we suddenly like this character. This character has had an
Has
interesting
purpose and background, and we know more about them. We finally appreciate them.
headshot.
Keith, do we get a Cloak and Dagger appearance at all inside here?
Let's call. They might show up after the Defenders, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Melody, did you say Walking Dead?
Yes.
Yes.
No, where's Death on Walking Dead was Herschel.
But they did drop the Iron Fist trailer like some weeks ago,
Okay.
and Iron Fist
No.
and Luke Cage have to be the closest because they have their whole entire Heroes for Hire
So-
thing going on.
Yeah, they were like
What
they had their
series
own
is
series
next?
called Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So what's next?
All right, real quick. Robert wanted to say a little bit. Did you have any more thoughts about Luke Cage?
No.
Okay.
I can't
All right,
do it.
talk about
Do you
Spider-Man,
recommend
Robert.
people watching it?
Of course I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Robert Brooks wanted to say that Cottonmouth was one of the major characters, one of the bad guy characters, was a better character than Diamondback. I actually agree with that statement a lot. Diamondback was another evil character.
I will trust
Anybody watch House of Cards? Remington.
But couldn't cause a legit problem with Gage. Diamondback actually put Luke in peril, but was initially a character. He didn't like him. He did not like Diamondback. I didn't really care for Diamondback either. So I get it.
dig it?
They loved everybody saying I was the whitest guy in the room. All right, so
Who loved that?
huh?
Who loved us?
Your brother.
My brother.
All right. So
Have you
next we're
seen
gonna
Lyle
talk about-
Robert? He's the whitest guy in the room.
I don't know.
It's
I
coming
think
from me.
I'm kind of tied over here. All
Let's talk about Ink Masters.
right.
Ink Masters to close it up. Oh, because you haven't watched Ink Masters.
Oh
you,
wait. No, we want to talk a minute about. Let's talk just for a minute about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, Guardians and
Guardians
Guardians
of the
trailer.
Galaxy
Yes,
2.
we wanted to
How
talk
much
about
time do
that.
you have left?
Trailer did not excite me.
Just a few minutes.
All right.
We'll talk Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw some of the trailer. It's kind of keep going into that whole thought process of Infinity.
The trailer did not excite me.
No.
I'll tell you why the trailer did
I
not
made
excite
jokes
me.
about it earlier, but the trailer did not excite me.
The trailer did not excite me because I could see the trailer, but I could not hear the trailer.
You know what? That trailer was playing my 2-bit rain dance song. And you can't stop the Super Rain Dance.
I could not hear the trailer over Minion
Ooh, gotcha.
and the Fett and the Big Dilly.
Everybody was talking.
Yeah. Hey, watch this. Hey, watch this. Hey, watch this.
And then we watch it. And y'all run your mouth.
Here's what I saw. I
I
saw
didn't watch it.
the quasi-autistic superhero give Star-Lord a hug when he said no. Yeah, no, it's not bickering. I'm just being silly. I saw a Baby Groot, which I love. I'm sold because you get to see more Baby Groot. The music I kind of heard, but I know that there was some talking cut in there. I've been waiting for the next Guardians of the Galaxy since the first one was out.
Mhm.
So
So to me, James Gunn is the director and one of the writers of it. That's all I need to see on that. See that credit on there to want to go see that film. He's done great films for Troma. He did his film Slither. While a lot of people find it very disturbing, I can't stop laughing at his films. They are like masterpieces that he puts together, and I can't until he proves me wrong. James Gunn can do no wrong.
I'm just saying, he just gave us a Scooby-Doo movie. I was a kid, so of course I enjoyed it.
All right. So Robert says Tiny Groot. That's all I have to say about that.
Tiny Groot.
Yeah. He didn't have much more to say about the trailer, but Tiny Groot.
I love Baby Groot.
Bradley
I love little
Cooper,
Groot.
Rocky
He's adorable.
Raccoon.
Hopefully, I'll actually speak more.
All right.
Speaks a
Can
lot.
we have a something to snack on?
Oh, it's
Snack time!
Adam, Joshua.
Adam's asleep.
So, do we want to start sweet or
Snack
salty?
time.
Both.
Salty.
That is an option.
Really?
Sweet,
I choose both.
Okay.
sweet.
So,
What's the score?
you know what? Let's just start with
I'll tell you the score after we're
the
done.
red stuff.
Red stuff.
So,
Don't eat it yet.
He's gonna eat it.
Speaking of Scooby-Doo ending, he actually
Give it that.
directed the Scooby-Doo film. A couple of them, it looks like. Or he wrote
ooh,
one.
candy.
He wrote
No.
Monsters
If you
Unleashed
want
and he
it,
wrote
have it. But that's
Scooby-Doo.
what we're having
What is
tonight.
it?
Call it enchiloca.
It's hot.
Pass.
A little.
I don't like the word
For
choke.
those of you who've never watched our show, we like to end our show every week with
What is that?
It's enchiloca.
We're trying this stuff.
Come on.
Pass.
Come on,
things.
Come on.
So it's-
here.
Somebody else try it first.
All right, ready?
Burning my fingers.
We always like to try something
Here's the
weird
small one.
and unusual.
Oh
Alright,
man.
So try it. Give Marty another piece. Go fat.
Did
I
Josh
know,
get
I
one?
know. Go.
Ooh,
All right,
smells
ready?
good.
Let's try it.
1, 2, 3, go.
Ooh, that's what I got.
Mm. It is definitely
I
Mexican
missed.
cake. I'm so glad I didn't eat it. You got
Those
me.
are babies. I mean, seriously, that's amazing.
I think a little
Oh, I love Mexican candy. This is
I do
good.
not like Mexican candy.
I love it.
This is good. I loved it.
It's like the candy I get at the store.
Oh yeah. Definitely spicy. It's got that chili in it.
It was 3 to
It's
3.
it's definitely Mexican candy. It's a little bit more chewy than regular
Yeah.
Mexican candy.
Yep, it's called an enchiloca. I buy it for my students at work.
Alright, go.
It's a
You buy it from
mango
students?
gummy
Mango. That's the flavor.
with they take mango gummy and they mix Lucas with it and coat it with it.
Oh,
It's
that's what happened
definitely-
to me.
Why are you killing my ancestors?
It is very much a jarring effect if you're not used to it.
I mean, the
Yeah,
word
no.
choke is in it.
No,
I got
enchiloca.
gummy and spice
okay.
and like, bleh. No.
It's good.
Those are two flavors that are really fun.
Loca is close to Loki.
Thank you.
What else do you have?
And not the fun kind of Loki.
No.
Daddy, don't forget I have to be up early tomorrow because I have a pep rally. 6:30.
Next is Taffy.
And you're in the way.
It
Hold
it
on.
was in the
Wait.
Yes, we know you're going to the state fair tomorrow. All right,
goes
get
down.
your snack here.
it was in the fridge, so it's a little harder than normal.
What is it? Oh, it's that thing. I don't
It's
want
mango
that.
taffy.
I already have one.
You already had a mango taffy?
Yeah, just gave me it.
There's one on the table.
I already have one in my mouth.
All right, Christina.
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as
Mango
that.
taffy.
Ready?
It's not meant to be
What's
soup.
up? Oh,
It's harder to
oh,
lie. Go
Yeah,
for
you're
it.
supposed to suck on it.
Yeah.
Same thing as last time.
Melly, I want you to drill this into your skull. Mana no new spice.
Give me more of that other stuff though.
You try it. You whip, you whip.
Oh, come on.
Oh, this is spicier
Let's
than the other one.
Give me more of that.
Oh man,
So we're liking the enchiloca.
Say it's at the candy bar at the store.
it's spicier. Goddamn. How is it spicier?
It's actually
Mango
chili.
with chili.
Oh, it's spicier than the other one.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I'm
That's sweeter though.
gonna say goodbye, everybody.
At least it's all right.
Bye. Especially before she makes me try to eat any more.
The last food is just like a
No, there's two more.
Two more.
Wait.
Are we doing wieners? I want a wiener.
You are a wiener.
Okay.
little pieces of
Meat.
Meat.
Meat stick.
It's meat stick, but there's something in the center.
cheese, you think.
Bacon,
Bacon cheddar.
maple
I was
syrup,
gonna make them guess what it was.
maple syrup.
No.
Hmm.
I wish.
I don't know. I can't
I
tell
don't
the
think-
bacon.
Maybe I need to know because I can't
Yeah.
taste anything.
If you get a chunk of the cheese, you can taste the cheese.
Yeah.
I can't taste the bacon.
No, I can't either. Go sit down and get out of the way of the camera.
Yeah, it is.
That's got
This is
two.
kind of like putting this is kind of like chorizo. Put too much chorizo in something, it overpowers everything else. So it's too much-
All you're tasting is the spice from the two other candies. We probably should have started off with the least spicy thing and moved upwards because the spice is ruining our palate.
I figured it would be a nice finish.
Alright, what's that other strange candy that looks like a granola bar?
Oh, it's called pulparindo. It's tamarind.
What? That's not even English.
Mm-hmm.
After the last two
No.
Mexican sounding candies, my tongue is numb to that.
No.
Just give me more meat sticks.
Woo!
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. It's not spicy. No, I'm not
No,
lying.
it's
It's
not
not spicy.
that. I don't like tamarind.
Sour.
Fine.
I'm taking Mexican.
No, it's spicy at the end. Spit it out if you think it's spicy. It's spicy at the end.
No, it's not.
I got spice.
Yeah.
What's spice?
You liar.
What's spice?
He said it's not spicy.
I don't taste anything spicy. I mean, I used to like.
You're 14.
I used to drink
Your palate is
those-
probably all spice and
Well,
garbage.
excuse me.
Well, I mean, I used to just drink ghost pepper, but that's not.
That is the most teenagery thing you could possibly say. And all of us are going, you're so full of crap.
Really?
Yes.
You didn't used to do anything. You're a teenager. You used to wear diapers and cry and crap your pants.
I ain't
You make it sound like you drink it like
That
a
was last
soda
weekend.
drink. You might have
Huh?
tried it for a second.
And that was last
No,
weekend,
maybe.
probably.
No, I used to put the ghost pepper sauce from that one place on the
Yeah, but that's not ghost pepper. You made it sound like you literally took ghost pepper.
Ew.
right
Yeah,
out of
blood,
it
blood,
and
blood.
chugged
Look at
on
you,
it.
Dr. Pepper.
If you had a real
No.
ghost pepper, you'd only be able to put a drop on
Mhm.
your tongue.
Yeah,
without
so
trying to
I
get-
think we've pretty much talked out
I
the
like
major
it.
talking
Good.
points for this week, and we've gone over our established time frame of an hour.
I
So
wanna play.
Next week we should talk a little bit more about what happened at FanFest and try to catch up a little bit more in Inkmaster. Really go down to it because the women are dominating.
we'll catch up on League Master because we
Well,
did.
I'm Anasandros.
Mhm.
Moon Sedai.
Elven Wolf.
That guy with the dog.
Minion.
And Captain Blackguard.
And who left out of the screen was Just Jay.
Mhm.
Just Jay.
We'll see y'all next week, and thank you for tuning in, guys.
Awesome.
So are you gonna? So you like being
So how are the
Chilopus?
cups doing?